Welcome to another travel product review. Today we're going to review the Chinatown Culinary Walking Tour. And before we get started, I want to share that all of my reviews are favorable. What I try to do is put myself in the shoes of a visitor who's looking at this listing on Get Your Guide and provide feedback of what they might be thinking when they see the pictures, the text, and the reviews. And then I put a 10-minute timer. I don't try to go past that. So let's get started with the timer and let's get started. Now, the first thing I do when I look at any type of listing, I just look at the title, Chinatown Culinary Walking Tour in San Francisco. And then I'm going to look at the pictures to see how those pictures supports that title and what my expectations are and if they match it. Now, I do want to see, I see 23 images, and that seems like a little much. So I think that's a little too many, but we'll take a look because some of those pictures will get repetitive. But I'm mainly looking to see how the pictures match the title, support the title. So here, it's already a culinary tour, and I see a bunch of ingredients. Now I see some food, and I see some people looking at some shops, some workers. This is where I see like a guide. I'm not sure if that's just the staff. I see somebody who's taking a picture in Chinatown, some food, the entrance gate, different places. This is the entrance to Chinatown. And the first thing I'm noticing already is usually on some of these guides and these walking tours is usually have a group photo of everybody. So I like to see that this activity provider puts that group together in a fun, friendly way, because I haven't seen that yet. I see Chinatown, but I don't see that group walking tour photo. And then I see some more ingredients you can get, some pictures of the area. But again, nothing includes that group and that walking tour or the guide. And that is the one thing that I notice. Plenty of pictures of Chinatown, plenty of pictures of food, but this is a culinary walking tour. So already the first thing I'm thinking about is, do you have a chance to enjoy any food or drinks as you're walking through the area? So I'll be looking for that in the details. And then before I get started in any more details, I just look at the activity provider to see who's putting this on and local taste of the city tours. That's interesting to me. I don't know if that, I guess when I look at the activity provider, I'm trying to see if that's the guide, if that's the company. I'm trying to see the relationship to that. And then I look at the 150 reviews, 4.8 stars. The one thing I would notice is that this is a little low. So the one thing that's already in my mind is this tour new? And so that's what's going through my mind. Now I'm just going to go down and go through the text and information that's on this listing. So I see that the duration is 3 hours. There's a live tour guide and who speaks English. And so the one thing that I want to mention is already, I didn't see any pictures of a live tour guide back in the pictures. That's what I wish this listing would add as they kind of make changes to the review. Now I want to go ahead and just fill this section out. I see it's $78.60 per person. I didn't see any different price points for children. Then I'm going to look to see what's available. Now, if you're always interested in any product on Get Your Guide, you got to go through this, fill it out, because this is where they'll get some extra information and they'll list different packages. So here there's only one package, and I'm going to go ahead and put $78.60, and so that gives me an idea that it's 10:30. The starting time's 10:30. And then, so there's no other different packages. There's no other different price points for different ages. And then there's no discounts during the week versus the weekend. And there's no blackout dates. Now I want to mention and go through the highlights. So this is the most important details that the company wants to share. And we're going to look at that in more detail. Explore San Francisco's buzzing Chinatown district on a guided walking tour. Enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells of the largest Chinatown outside of Asia. Learn about the extensive varieties of Chinese teas, Chinese tea, little spelling, teas and herbs from the local vendors. Pursue the bustling peruse the bustling streets for fascinating exotic produce and goods. Taste some delicious dim sum at the oldest Chinese bakery in the city. Now, what I didn't mention here is what's included when it comes to food. Right here, it's kind of I'm not really sure if I'm getting that for free or I have to pay for it. Oh, so before I just glanced all food and drink tastings. So I didn't see any other tastings in the description. So I think that highlight should mention it before. So each little section, I'm learning a couple different details. And then I always look at the full description. Seems a little long because I'm not going to read all of that. And I think most people don't read it. So that's why it's very important to put your details in the highlight section. It seems shorter. We'll just meet your guide and begin your flavored packed adventure. See food markets and local restaurants with a surprise every corner. Watch artisans making fortune cookies by hand. That's pretty cool. And live in your senses with new flavors. Search out authentic crafts and pottery. It's cool. Taste Chinese specialties like dim sum at the oldest bakery. Browse the shop fronts and the incredible antiquities and authentic cookware. Marvel at the statuettes and ritual objects that are thousands of years old. Visit a music center and discover a variety of musical instruments you may not have seen before. Head to one of the city's oldest cathedrals. In the longer section, I didn't see where the drink tastings occur or what type of food options. It's kind of a little question mark. I wish this listing had it in more detail of what's included. Meet in front of the Chinatown gate at the corner of Bush and Grant Streets. Great. I like to see people in a group taking a picture there. And then that's kind of just have a couple questions about those things. So we're going to look at the reviews now. And before we get started, I want to mention that I do not represent Get Your Guide. I do not represent this listing. I'm simply providing feedback on what I see when I look at the reviews, and especially the negative reviews. I provide feedback on what I'm thinking and what somebody else might be thinking as well. So let's get started. So already you can understand that there wasn't descriptions of the tastings and the food, and this is a walking tour, so weather-related information is probably going to be in the review section. So what I try to do is go ahead and just look at the negative reviews to start, and they have no negative reviews, which is amazing. So now I just go back up and make sure 150 reviews. That's pretty good not to have any negative reviews. Let's move on to 3 stars, and now we get a couple information. So little food. Rather flamboyant performance that seems unprepared. The visit to the fortune cookie factory was nice. So already, we already knew, like looking at the description, when it comes to food and drinks, what was included or not included. And so I like to see that to be better presented on that. And that's not bad. Out of 150 reviews, I'm curious now. Most of the time I just look at the negatives, so now I want to look at the positives on this one. So it was a great experience. The guide, Isabella, is great. I recommend to discover nice little places in Chinatown. I'm very happy with the tour, but Andrew and Cynthia were exceptional, and the food and drink taste experience was delightful, as well as the group I was with. Scott was amazing. So, one thing about when you see different reviews or different feedback, you have a couple different guides, and guides might work for the company for a while and might not work for the company after a while. So when you see their names, you're going to have different experiences with the many different guides. So that's always important to understand that your experience might fluctuate because you have different guides, and some are amazing, some are okay, but that's always a question mark. Now I'm just going to look at a couple more. Reviews are excellent guide, Scott. Very good visit, a lot of feed, hopefully food. So delicious, thank you very much. So when it came to that negative review, it seems that people's expectations, like they might have a full course meal. That's not going to be the case when it comes to these tastings and drinks and food. So just lower your expectations. This is more about a guide that's taking you to the many places, but I do think that it's important to put in the description what type of food and drinks that's going to be included with that. Be a little bit more specific. I've been on some culinary tours, and I know exactly what I'm going to get before I even take the tour. Otherwise, I just want to share, if you found this review helpful, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to more videos like this. And if you're interested in purchasing this ticket, put a link in the videos. I'll put a link in the video's description. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And if you go to San Francisco, definitely do a culinary walking tour of Chinatown.